Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Clone Wars Season 6, Episode 6, The Rise of Clovis, which does not sound good to me. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and it's cool. Did they not look like a boy band with all the different colour shirts?
Must remain calm. The only way they could find our secret accounts is if one of us told them.
So that's why the accounts are empty, of course. Is he the one that's telling? Or in communication with the Separatists?
Continue to the next stage of the proceedings.
Oh dear.
And intrigued we are by your return to Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Much distrust is focused upon you.
I understand, but I hope to right the wrongs that I have done.
Sure. Totally believe you.
You used to sit on this very Senate, even as you funneled credits into the droid foundries of Count Dooku.
I understand all of your trepidation, but there is corruption in the banks.
Only once we find this
Why would we believe you cared about it?
Responsible.
I believe that what Clovis is saying is correct.
Then, Senator Amidala, I would like you to spearhead this investigation.
Does he want to put her in danger to help destabilize Anakin? What is... I mean, he always has a plan within a plan within a plan.
Once we know exactly.
Why didn't you just say no?
Say no? Why?
I don't want you working with Clovis.
Okay, she gets to make her own choices,
A
Anakin.
serpent can shed its skin, but it is still a serpent.
Well,
And
I just
she knows
have
that.
to trust my judgment. The Chancellor has asked me to do this, Anakin.
But I'm asking you to say no.
So, Padme is an area in which...
Demand that you tell the
Fucking hell.
Demand? We've been over this before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not...
Padme, shall we begin?
Yes, of course.
Anakin's losing himself.
To recruit our friend Clovis. He appears to have lost his way.
Oh, so he wasn't in on it.
Would you like me to do that?
Jesus.
We're going to help, must entrap him, so he has no one else to turn to.
So he was being genuine for some reason.
Mr. Yoda feels that your judgments concerning Rush Clovis are clouded.
I wonder why that could be.
I simply feel she is vulnerable to her emotions.
She is,
Jealousy.
or you.
What are you implying?
I once harbored feelings for her. It's not that we're not allowed to have these feelings. It's natural.
Senator Amidala
This
and
is
I are
fascinating.
simply friends.
Make the right choice, Anakin. For the Order.
I understand my responsibilities.
And I'm married.
Responsibilities that must be observed.
Oh, they need to handle this whole situation better.
The opera was wonderful, but I'm glad we can get down to business.
Yeah, why on earth did they go to the opera?
Separatists, a devastating theft.
Whoever is behind
Not a
this
red square with a smaller red square inside.
You might be right. Perhaps we should eat something.
I believe in the banks. The system works.
I believe in
These aren't
money.
Bad people. It's just
They sound like good people.
they are. Most munes are, and they want
Most
this
people
corruption
are,
ended more
of
than I
every
do.
race.
Now maybe you will trust me.
I'm here, aren't I?
I want to thank you for everything you've done for
She's
me.
made it clear she doesn't like all the
I don't
touchy stuff,
think I would've
okay?
had the strength alone. It's that Jedi, isn't it?
General Skywalker? We're friends.
I'd have been like, Master Yoda?
Don't argue the way I saw you argue.
There's nothing romantic between he and I.
Then there is absolutely nothing to stop us from doing this.
Other than the fact that you betrayed her that time. Oh,
Away
Anakin.
from her.
Anakin?
Without your Jedi tricks.
Sure, he could still beat you.
Be my pleasure.
Your ego, Anakin. I mean, Clovis, seriously, like, a woman doesn't have to be with somebody else.
I thought you said he didn't have feelings for you.
Kind of giving away the game here.
What you truly are. That all you got? You should
Men.
the senator has other interests than you.
But she doesn't. She's made it clear she's not interested in you, you twat. Anakin is truly losing himself.
You fool. Sorry.
The dark side starting to cloud his mind
No.
more and more.
Come in immediately.
It was my good fortune to have General Skywalker here. They escaped in
Oh,
freedom.
he is a astute politician.
What happened, sir?
Anakin is losing himself. He needs people to have an intervention for him. Somehow.
I'm so sorry, Padme. I don't know what came over
He's
me.
losing himself.
What's done is done.
I know I went too far. It's just something inside me snapped.
I don't know who's in there sometimes. I just know
It's
that I'm not
Palpatine's
happy.
influence.
I don't feel safe.
But Padme...
I think it's best if
Goodness.
we don't see each other anymore. At least not for a while. I'm sorry, Anakin.
Goodness.
I'm sorry too.
He seemed more like his real self than he has in some time in this conversation.
No.
Less possessive, he accepted her decision, even if it hurt him. The Anakin that we know is in there, and is getting lost more and more by the day.
I am a servant of Count Dooku.
Of course you are.
It appears we have a mutual problem.
You're not immediately alerting
I know
everyone.
the separatists have not been repaying their... What do you get out of this?
Stability in unstable times.
There's more to it than that.
Are on this disc.
You'll be under his thumb.
Now all that stands in your way is the Senate.
Isn't it suspicious that the Separatists agreed to him so readily they didn't need to put it to the vote for themselves? Though he was on their side.
Good luck.
Thank you.
With irrefutable evidence that the heads of the banking clan have been stealing funds.
Regardless, you're still a traitor. We cannot trust you.
How can we trust you?
I vow to be impartial and show no favor.
Sure, you vowed to be a... You made vows when you became a senator and you betrayed those.
In support of the nomination.
Democracy doesn't always work. God, he went in there and they were calling him a traitor and now they're applauding him.
I don't dispute your distrust of him. I think there is something we haven't unearthed yet.
God, I
And
wonder
would
what that
very
could
much
be.
like for it to... Let us make sure that doesn't happen. Shall we?
Oh, he's just got Anakin so groomed and wound around his finger. Clovis is getting everything he wants. And for a man who claims to have been so wholly changed and he just wants to do the right thing, and he's only interested in the right thing and doing the right thing for the people, he accepts help from the Separatists very easily. His loyalties are to himself. Or even if he is being just loyal to the people of the banking world, he's lying to everyone around him. He was extraordinarily forceful with Padme. Like, if you're sitting on a sofa next to someone, you go to put your arm around them, and they move away, that should be a clear sign that they are not interested, that they're trying not to make a scene, so we just drop the matter. But instead he's like, oh, you love that other guy, do you? Oh, so you don't, therefore there's nothing to stop you liking me. Just because I'm not in love with Anakin doesn't mean I'm in love with you, you bastard. So yeah, there's so many red flags with him. He's a very untrustworthy person in so many ways, although his backstory was interesting to learn. It kind of makes you feel more fondly towards the banking clans, etc., that they would look after a child like that wasn't one of their own. Then we have Anakin and Padme. Ugh. The scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin was so interesting, where he kind of finally broached the topic of, I know you have feelings for Padme, you know I have had feelings too, but you can't act on them. And to be honest, being able to act on them openly, I genuinely think would make for a much healthier Jedi. It would, because they have feelings regardless. You just have to help them learn to not put those feelings first. Whereas if they have the feelings, they're still going to want to put them first, whether they're with the person or not. Instead, people like Anakin do it sneakily and secretly, and therefore when it all falls apart or when things go wrong, they have no one to support them, and then they do things that are terrible, like becoming evil. But that was a very, very interesting scene, and it's sort of a scene that is almost, it's frustrating, because you're like, if they had just pushed a little bit further like this, if he had just stayed in the room with him and tried to say, look, you can trust me, you can talk to me, like if they had just been more supportive throughout and had more of these kinds of conversations, I think things could have been very, very different. Then the fight was awful, but I think it was fascinating to see in that moment when he was about to kill, and then he became Anakin again. It was like his real personality came back into his eyes, and he realised, fuck, like, this is, what am I doing? I'm not myself. And it's awful to see as someone that really likes Anakin as a character, especially the person he was when he was young. Watching him lose himself bit by bit is awful. And it's awful to think like people like Padme are noticing it, but what can they do? They don't know the full extent, they don't know what's causing it, they don't know that he has this evil influence. And I know everyone is being affected by the dark side at the moment, but like Anakin has Palpatine just constantly spewing in his ear. So that conversation was a lot. And you know, for Padme to say, I mean, I know they love each other, despite the age gap, which is only weird because she knew him when he was tiny. But like, and I do really, really enjoy them as a couple, but what were they thinking was going to happen? Were they thinking that in 10 years, once things settle down, they'd be able to say, oh, by the way, we're married? What was she going to do with the kids when she had them? Oh yes, a random man got me pregnant. I understand that they loved each other, but when they got married, they were very foolish and young, which I get is the whole point. Because what was the future going to be for them? It wasn't going to be a happy one. Or at least they'd have to fight for it. Whether that would be fighting to get the Jedi to change their ways, or whether that would be fighting to keep it a secret, fighting Anakin to keep his place here when he left the Jedi Order. In a way, what's more important to him, his role in the Jedi or Padme, could have been a question, but given that they raised him and all he had left, that's not really a question. It's just all so interesting, and the fact that she asked him for this break. He is currently extremely emotionally vulnerable right now because, you know, someone almost found out the truth about them, and now, you know, she's spending a lot of time with her ex, and he's very possessive and jealous. It leads to chaos indeed. And she's kind of said, I think our marriage might be a mistake. I don't want you to, like, I don't really want to see you anymore. I don't want to be a married couple anymore. Now, I have to watch her for any signs of a baby bump, because otherwise at least they will reconcile at some point. But yeah, that is just brutal to think that they went through that not too long before the descent became complete for Anakin. The Clone Wars has just done such a brilliant job of providing so much context for everything, because if you just watch the movies and they're on for a couple of hours and then you move on and then you watch the next one, it does seem as though Anakin just kind of goes from being like a really good, well-meaning kid to being like, oh, I just deserve the world, oh, woe is me, I'm gonna be evil now. And you don't really get to see enough of the context. Now, I think like Hayden Christensen did a really good job. I don't think the movies are bad, but I think it's the kind of character arc that with just the movies, you have to do a lot of the work yourself to be like, to pick up on comments that are made and things that you see and realise a bit more of the backstory. And this show is doing a really good job of laying it out for you. So yeah, I'm stressed by all these continual signs of what is to come. And also saddened by the fact that he's still at the point where he is horrified by that, and just thinking about this Anakin would think if he could see where his path was taking him. And this was another fantastic episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.